Hi, everybody. My name is Linda. I'm a compulsive eater and sugar addict. And um, I weigh and measure my food off the gray sheet. I write it down. I commit it to my sponsor. I eat everything I commit and nothing in between, no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing I will be doing today. Um, and I'm really delighted to be here. I was sort of the backup singer, I guess, for today. So now hit it, and I hadn't quite prepared, so we'll see what comes out, okay? Um, and I like to start off with a picture of me from before Gray Sheet, and this is me now. So anyway, I was 308 pounds before Gray Sheet, and I'm 155-ish now. And That's just remarkable. First of all, most people don't lose 100 pounds. And second of all, they don't keep it off. And I've been doing this since December 20th, 20, 2018. Sorry, brain fart. Anyway, what made me stumble there was I have lost 150 pounds total. What I meant was most people don't even lose 100. Um, and uh, This program works miracles, though. I hear so many stories from so many of you. I lost 70 pounds. I lost 80 pounds. I lost 120 pounds. This is not uncommon in this group, but it's uncommon throughout the rest of the world. Um, so anyway, I think we should just appreciate for a moment how awesome this program is. Anyway, I was a pretty sickly 308-pound person. I was on oxygen for a couple of months and had to go to cardiopulmonary rehab. And, the cool thing about that was you had oxygen on and you had a little pulse ox meter on your finger, and they could tell if your heart was going to, bursting out of your chest, or if you had no oxygen, and they could intervene. And so I had more confidence to exercise than I had ever had. And that was nice. I lost about 20 pounds. They tried to teach me how to cook, that didn't take. But I was able to come off the oxygen after about 2 or 3 months. And that was cool because I work in a hospital clinic setting. And when you show up as the doctor and you're on oxygen, it really confuses your patients. Anyway, so that was really awkward time. And yet it did not convince me to quit eating the way I was eating. I had great denial about this. Didn't want to admit it was an addiction, didn't want to quit what I was doing. I just wasn't really willing, even though landing on oxygen. So I had rheumatoid arthritis from the age of 25. And by the time I found Gray Sheet, I was very debilitated. I had an electric scooter I would get around in because I couldn't hold that weight. I'm only 5 foot. Well, I thought I was 5'3" when I first got in, but I've had a bone density thingy since then, and they said I was 5'1.5", and I had to stretch for the half. Um, so anyway, I had a body mass index of 55. When your body mass index is over 40, you have a 300% increase. So that's 3 times more likely to die than someone of a normal body weight within the next 12 months. And so I was literally a walking time bomb. And so I got in just in time. I mean, I don't know how much longer I had. I actually moved to Oregon for an employment opportunity and thought I'd die out here within 3 years. And probably if I hadn't found Gray Sheet, I might have. I just didn't even I don't know, I didn't even conceive of it as an addiction until I realized I'm powerless over this. I am walking towards the stash, all the while telling myself, don't do this. This is killing you. Stop, stop, stop. And unable to stop. And I watched one of my patients give up drugs and alcohol and then start to shrink. And finally, one day, I had really discovered that powerlessness. And she came into the office and I said, you know what? I've watched this transformation in you and I don't know what you're doing and I can't stop eating. Not even knowing that that's like the catchphrase for Gray Sheet, can't stop eating, Gray Sheet. Um, and anyway, she said, I weigh and measure my food off the Gray Sheet. I write it down. I commit it to my sponsor. I eat everything I commit. I eat nothing in between, no matter what. And my serenity is in direct proportion to my surrender. And I thought to myself, miraculously, I can do that. And when she left my office, I um, called up the Gray Sheet phone number. I think that's what I did, either or I emailed. I think I called, and I got to talk to a startup sponsor, and um, she kind of reviewed the outline of Gray Sheet, and I was writing furiously because, of course, you don't get a Gray Sheet without a sponsor. So I'm having to write everything that she's telling me and the list of veggies and so forth. And um, uh, it was a lot. There was a lot of rules. I think I have 3 pages of notes. And anyway, so she gave me a list of people I should call to see if they would sponsor me. And I didn't because the phone weighed so much. And after about 5 days of not calling, she said, most people have moved on by now. And my little competitive self was like, well, heck, I'm not going to be like the last one, you know? So I called. And anyway, yeah, I remember the first day committing my food. Um, I was stuck on the veggie because every veggie I could think of was actually a starch. and, um, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know. And she said, just pick a vegetable. And it was the moment when I realized I don't have to know what I'm going to feel like tomorrow to just commit to do something tomorrow, to eat this tomorrow. Because I was always, whatever I'm feeling dictates what I eat. Um, and of course, it was always bad stuff. And you have bad stuff because it's a good day, and bad stuff because it's a bad day, and bad stuff because it's a day that ends in Y. And, you know, um, anyway, yeah. So I didn't think I could make it a week at the very beginning. Um, and when I did, I was like, well, I'm not going to let this go. And I made a month. And then I was like, I'm really not going to let this go because already I had seen somebody else come in and out within those couple of weeks and realized that this was kind of a special thing to get it. Um, and I have had many relapse dreams. I even had one last night. And um, that moment of relapse, when I realize it in the dream, it's like, oh crap, I can't be a GSR anymore. And I can't this anymore. And I can't that anymore. Um, and anyway, it was very disturbing last night because I woke up from the dream and it took me a while to realize you're in bed. You haven't been anywhere. You were not wherever it was you were eating that. And it didn't happen, and then like big relief. I don't know if any of you've ever had that happen, but I see nods. Good. Um, so yeah, I have been lucky enough not to have to go out to this point, and I hope that continues. I have no reason to believe it wouldn't continue. Um, but I know it does happen. So I have to plan my meals and I have to prepare my stuff. Thank you, 5 minutes. I see that, Laura. Um, and I have to pray and protect. And that was what I didn't do in the dream. Was I was out somewhere tired and hungry, and someone gave me a thing I'm not supposed to eat, and I ate it. And that's the kind of accidental stumble that I think I would be most prone to, is if I wasn't preparing ahead of time and knowing what I was going to eat, and um, having it ready and right there. So, so that's the most important thing for me to remember, because we are always just one bite away, right? And I don't know if I gave you my abstinence date. It's December 20th, 2018. Yes, I stumbled all over it. I remember now. That was the day before the office holiday, the office party, you know. And so my first actual day of abstinence was uh, eating my lunch before this party, and then going to the party. And what my startup sponsor said was, just look people in the eyes. And when you can't look them in the eyes anymore and you're looking at the fork or the mouth or the plate, then you go. So that's what I did. And I just knew for myself, if I went through the two holidays that were coming up, the Christmas and the New Year's, and did what I always did, I might not want to January 2nd come do this, you know? Um, so luckily I made a decision and I followed through with it. And I'm so grateful, because there were people in my area. There were human beings I could go to a meeting with. This was before, COVID. And I was lucky enough in my tiny little town that I'm in to have three other GreySheeters. Well, four. One didn't come that often. And um, anyway, I mean, what a blessing in this tiny little part of Oregon that I'm in. And um, I can't do this without you all. The words that you gave me in the beginning really ring in my head. There is another meal coming. Um, there is nothing so bad in your life that relapse can't make it worse. And take an action, change a thought. And those little phrases kept me going at times when I had temptation or weakness or whatever, and was able to choose, okay, I have another meal coming today, or I have a meal coming tomorrow morning. And I can do this just for this period of time in between. I can do this. And so it works miracles, this program. And I can't say enough about it. It saved my life. I keep coming because it saves my life. And for me, this is a life or death thing. I nearly died from this overeating disease. And thank you all for my sobriety. And I will end with that. Thank you.